Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter. As you can see, it says a better ministry. All right, when here, Paul continues on right through from Hebrews, the 7th chapter, and going into the superiority of the new covenant, right, of which Yahweh Shai is the mediator, which is much better than the old, right, because the old, we weren't able to keep, right, it was imperfection with the covenant of that because of our part. So this is Hebrews chapter 8, verse 1. It says, now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have, so of everything we have said, this is what it lands on. This is the conclusion of it. We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens. That is Yahweh Shai, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which the Lord pitched and not man, because the tabernacle that man pitched was designed, right? The Lord gave Moses a blueprint and they designed that and pitched that and set it up. But Yahweh Shai is a minister of the sanctuary, of the true tabernacle, the heavenly tabernacle that the Lord pitched, that the Lord set up. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices, wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. So it says here, and whenever he says this man, he's referring to Yahweh Shai. And since every high priest is required to offer gifts and sacrifices, our high priest must make an offering too. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law. It says here, if he were here on earth, he would not even be a priest, since there already are priests who offer the gifts required by the law, who serve onto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle. For, see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shewed to thee in the mountain. So he's saying these priests, right, verse 7, that offer gifts according to the law, their service is an example, is onto an example of and a shadow of the heavenly things. Okay, so what does that mean? When you look at a shadow can tell you some things like, damn, this person must be, kind of tall. You can see a bit of their figure, right? You can see certain things there. But a shadow is imitating the one that is casting it. If the one who casts the shadow has a broad back, then the shadow looks broad up top. Okay? And if the one who casts the shadow has skinny legs, then the shadow looks like it has two skinny legs. Right? Just an example here. So what Paul is getting at here is the service of the Levitical priesthood on earth is not the original. It's patented after one that is greater in the heavens. So as it says here, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle, the Lord told him, see, saith he, that thou make it according to the pattern showed thee in the mount. So this is a copy or a replica of what you were shown. That means that something already exists there. This is just to mimic it. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant. Who is the mediator of a better covenant? Yahweh Shai, which was established upon better promises. So the covenant, the new covenant, which Yahweh Shai has become a mediator of, is established upon better promises. Okay, immortality, eternal life, perfection. The old covenant did not give us perfection. Okay, it says here, verse 7, for if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. Now remember, the covenant is not the laws. The laws are not sin. The covenant is the agreement that we made. So if there had been no fault with the agreement that was made, there would have been no need to seek a second covenant, a second agreement for finding fault with them, not the laws, but with us. Because of us, the agreement, the first agreement, was faulty because we weren't able to keep it. So for finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. If you break a contract, then here the Lord is saying, I'm going to make a new contract with you. Have mercy on you, and we'll sign a new contract. Because you already, violated the old one. So he says here, I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, that is the whole nation, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, that is in the wilderness, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. So this new covenant is not going to be according to that. This new deal that we're making is not going to be according to that. For this is the new covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. So, let me give you an example. Imagine you go to work somewhere, and your first time, right? You go to work there, and they tell you, look, you got to sign this contract. The contract is saying that you agree to work for us. Now, your tasks and duties don't change, okay? But here are the things you have to do. Here are the things you're responsible for. Sign here, and then go and do them. If you don't do these things, or if you violate the requirements that are given to you, the contract is null and void. You've broken your end of it, your infraction of it, and then we might need to let you go. So you go ahead and you sign that contract, and that is a covenant you've made with them. You've agreed with them on your part and their part. And then let's say you go and violate, like their responsibilities are too much for you. You gotta clean the roof while cleaning the basement at the same time. You know what I'm saying? you got to make sure you eat on your break, but at the same time you got to make sure the floor, everybody's on the floor at the same time. It's like, yo, so you're not able to do it because you weren't able to do it. You violated the responsibilities. They tell you, look, the contract is null and void now because you didn't keep up your end of it. But they call you later and they say, look, we've made some changes and we're willing to sign a new contract with you. And in this new contract, you still have the same responsibilities, but this time we're not just going to say, okay, go and do this, go and do that, go and do this. This time we're going to, we're going to augment you, right? We're going to put a, definitely don't want to use that example. So we'll give you, some new suit, some new clothing or something like that can make you move faster, make you much stronger, make you think a little bit better, and then it can make you do your job better, right? Just an example here. So what happens here is that you are signing a new contract. This new contract says you are responsible for this, that, and the third, but you are also going to be changed. You're going to be modified. You're going to be assisted by this new suit or whatever they're going to give you to be able to do these jobs without fail. Okay. So the Lord, going back to this here, what the Lord is saying is, because that's what's going to happen, right? We're going to, in the kingdom, we're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We're just going to be perfect at it because of the Lord writing it in our hearts. So it's not external, it's internal. The Lord didn't make breathing something you needed to learn. You don't learn how to breathe, right? You don't learn how to see. You don't learn how to use your voice. Babies are not taught how to use their voice. They start crying. Nobody teaches them how to do that. So those are things that are innate. They're written into the mind. It's already embedded in your genetic code. Nobody teaches you how to breathe. They don't teach you how to, cry or scream or any of that. So likewise, in the kingdom, the things that were external, you were taught, don't sleep with another man's wife. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. Do this. Do that. So there are things that are already within you that are taught of God, that you're not external, like you're not raised. Your parents don't raise you, like I said, to breathe. They don't tell you, hey, look, make sure you breathe, make sure you do that. No, you do that on your own. You're born in this world knowing how to do that. They don't teach you how to process information with your eyes. That's instinctive. Okay. So likewise, in the kingdom, we won't be taught how to keep these laws. It'll be instinctive for us. Okay. It'll just it'll just be within us. There, naturally, okay, naturally, nobody has to teach you not to look at your mother or your sister, in a weird way. Naturally, nobody teach that. It's just like, what, ew, you know, because you're taught of God. It's within you. So likewise, in the kingdom, when it's written within your heart to not commit adultery, that's how you would see, like Paul was telling Timothy, to treat the elder women like you would your mom, the younger women like you would your sister. If you see a woman that's married, that's how you're gonna see her, like if she was actually your sister, not another woman out there that's like, damn, that's fine shit. No. Anyway, going back to Hebrews chapter 8, where we at with it, verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. So it's going to be like in your genetic code. And physically, in terms of manifestation, that's going to be a part of the new bodies the Lord gives us. Where we're not going to, because right now our spirits desire to do righteousness, but our flesh holds us down. Sin dwells in our flesh, but it won't be able to dwell in the new bodies. Those new bodies are going to be anti-sin. No sin is allowed in here. And as it says here, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people, right? So we're going to actually be able to fulfill what it means to be the sons of God without error. Verse 11, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor, that's your fellow Israelite, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest, right? So just like how you don't teach babies to breathe and scream and cry, likewise, instinctively, when an Israelite is born, they're going to have the knowledge of the Lord within them already. You're not going to need to teach them, okay, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. So the Lord is going to forgive us. You know, like when you go to sign that new contract and they tell you, you know what, you violated the first one, but we're willing to let that go. Go ahead and sign this one. Verse 13, in that he saith, a new covenant he hath made the first old. That's it. That the second you mention new of a same subject, you are making the first one old. That's what all Paul is saying. Yo, I got a new car. What does that mean about the first one you had? It's old. The second you say that, now it's old. Okay? And that's why you prefix the next thing with a new. Nobody goes and buys another thing and says, I got a old, unless you're the actual model is like very old. Oh, yo, you got a new bed? Well, if you say you got a new bed, that implies you had a bed before, but now this is a different one. So anyway, as it says here, a new covenant he hath made the first old, and now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. And Paul is saying here that the old covenant, the first covenant, is basically on its way out as the new one is introduced and is being put into place. Okay, there we go. And that brings us to the end of the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. And until next time, Shalom.